Hi, this is Erin Mallory Long. Today we're talking about Season 2, Episode 7 of Dawson's Creek, called The All-Nighter. Dawson and Gail are in Dawson's bed watching movies. There's like all those plastic boxes that VHS tapes used to come in, like strewn about. It's like very weird. I understand that she's supposed to fill in for movie night and like movie night happens in his bedroom and but like sit on the couch. And he says to her, "We've got to do something about your perpetual state of melancholy." Just like a typical normal thing that you say to your mom, just hanging out. Luckily, that's all we see of any parents for the rest of this episode because we're getting into my favorite thing, which is you have to study for something and you hang out with all of your friends at some dope house. Now, I might have gotten this desire specifically from this episode. I don't know. I just know that this is something that I have like always wanted. One big thing I have with this episode is that there's never a scene of any of them telling their parents like, "I'm sleeping at Dawson's, I'm at Jen's." Like, I just feel like that would be really funny, like at the school like payphones or something. Like if it's like a row of them like all making that phone call, and then it's like Chris doesn't have to because it's at his house. Whatever. So the episode starts with basically everyone that we care about is in the same English class and the guy is really mean and their midterm is tomorrow. A lot of stuff happens in between, like Chris tosses a note at Jen and it's written in red and it says to smile. And like Dawson and Joey have like a weird like awkward thing like at school, like in the English class, and then Joey tries to talk to him and he's like, "We're not talking," and like it's just like, okay. And then like Pacey and Andy are hanging out at lunch and we set up that she has this Jane magazine purity test quiz, which is basically just like sex stuff and like just like a dope thing that like obviously teens would love to do. I wouldn't personally because it always makes me like so stressed, but people do like to do it, I've heard. Chris like sees that the study session isn't happening and is like, "I have a great idea. We're all going to my house." Everyone gets on board. It's core four. It's Pacey, Andy, Jen, Chris. Then Pacey finds Dawson. Andy finds Joey. And then like Dawson jumps in Chris's fancy car, whatever it is, something red. And like they lock eyes and he's like, "Oh no," because Joey's there. His house is like legitimately like big. Like it's like obviously like they're rich or whatever. And then there's also like a pool, a hot tub. There's like a million channels on the TV. His weird nerdy like sister is there. I love her. But she's immediately like bizarre. Like she like is revealed like from behind like a buck, like, "I'm here." And she's just like, I don't know, 12 or something, like just kind of hanging out there. So they try to get started. Andy has this whole plan of like, oh, they'll be done by midnight if they get started now. And then instead they're like, "Let's order pizza," and everyone leaves. The first thing Chris does is like showing Jen the wine collection. And like, "My parents have a bottle from '84. And I'm just like, why are you guys drinking red wine? Like, what teen is like, "Let me drink red wine"? And then for the whole rest of the episode, all of them at different times are like holding red wine glasses, like drinking red wine like casually. I'm just like, what kind of teenagers are you? Like, why isn't this wine cooler? I don't understand. Basically, they find Andy's purity quiz. And so Chris is like, "We should all do this. Dope." And then like they do it. And then the scene of them taking the quiz is this just like montage of like each of them reading questions and jotting down answers and making little like weird sexy faces and stuff. And then Dawson is just like staring at Joey because she reads the final one and it's like, "How many times have you been in love?" And then I can't. Chris is like full. Okay, first Chris starts attacking Pacey and is like, "Oh, what about question 16? And question 16 is like, "Have you ever had sex with someone twice your age?" So then all the Miss Jacob stuff comes out basically. And like he just like admits in this group of them that like he did sleep with her. And like Andy's like, "Wait, that lady that we met?" Which like, yeah, girl, I'm sorry. But then Chris is outside in like a robe, like very like a Hugh Hefner light like kind of robe. Again, red wine, talking to Dawson and basically being like, "I'm gonna fuck Jen tonight." And Dawson's like, "No, you aren't." But like it's also like Chris is also trying to explain to Dawson that like he can have makeup sex. Like he and Joey are like going at it so hard that like they're going to have makeup sex at some point, and like Andy and Pacey are probably off doing that now. And I'm just like, what world does Chris live in? I just can't. I'm just like, literally, who are you? So then Chris does this whole weird aggressive thing where he like puts his arm around Dawson and points out a window and is like, see that guest room? When the light turns off, that means I'm in there with Jen. And Dawson's like, we'll see. I'm like, calm down. Everybody calm down. Let's let Jen decide what Jen wants to do. So then Jen is like trying out, they have all these bathing suits like tags on, like brand new for anyone to try. And so Jen's trying to figure out a bathing suit and Joey's like being a dick to her. And then Jen's like, you know, I thought we didn't get along because of Dawson, but I think you're just a bitch. And then Joey's like, okay, sorry. Kind of apologizes and then says that everyone talks so much and she doesn't want to talk anymore. And don't you want to have something left to just experience? And Jen says she does. Then Andy is still upset. She's sitting on like a little swing. Pacey comes up. He's like, you know, sex is never innocent. This game wasn't innocent. Like, we knew things were going to come up. It's like all a bullshit speech, but I'm like, I can picture being like 13 and watching this episode and me, 13-year-old Erin, being like, and just like loving Pacey. Like, I totally, like, I watch the show and I'm like a small teen again, like immediately. And it's just like, it's a very odd experience for me. Then Chris's little sister is like taunting Dawson. And she basically says that like Joey's been in love twice. And he's like, what? And then Chris and Jen are just hooking up in the hot tub. They're just like mouths just like making out. Again, I mean, they're red wine drunk. Bunch of 16-year-olds being red wine drunk. I mean, what else are you gonna do? Joey is literally like, Dawson, don't bother me. Dawson keeps bothering her. Then basically like confronts her about the falling in love twice thing. And she's like, what are you doing? Then like he yells at the little sister, and then Joey tries to comfort the little sister and be like, yeah, growing up sucks. And she's like, oh, really? I thought grown-ups liked it. And it's like, nah, girl, it's okay. Then we see like a montage of everyone waking up, and it's like Dawson is like slumped back in a chair with like a book across his chest, and then everyone is similarly like that. And they all wake up and realize it's 6 a.m. and Andy's like, our test is in 4 hours. And they're like trying to figure it out. And then Chris and Jen wake up like in bed, of course. And then like we literally see like a ripped Durex condom wrapper like on the nightstand. So like at least we know where they were safe, which I do appreciate. And then basically Pacey is like, I'm the cram master. We're going to get this done. So then there's a montage of them doing all this stuff. Bare Naked Lady song, Who Needs Sleep, starts playing. It comes up again in this episode 2 more times. It's great. And then they're basically done. And then Pacey's like, okay, we have one last thing. And they all run and jump in the pool fully clothed. And I'm like, yes. Like, that's what I need from teen dramas. Like, I need these, like, idealistic, like, things that, like, you would never actually do in your real life because, like, you don't have enough time. You have to get to school. Like, whatever. It's fine. It doesn't matter. Jumped in the pool. Fine. I really, like, relate to Joey's, like, frizzy hair when she comes out of the pool. Like, she's trying to dry off and her hair is kind of doing what I'm doing right now because it's raining here. And then Dawson and Joey try to have a heart-to-heart. Dawson's like, I wish I could take back our first kiss so that, like, nothing would have changed. And Joey's like, the 2 times I was in love were both you, like, as a friend and then after. And then they're like, okay. Basically, they go back to the school and they find out that the test is postponed. So good. And then Andy's like, I guess we'll go to our classes. And Pacey's like, nope, I have another idea. And then apparently, from the shot that we see, apparently what they do is they all in succession throw down their book bags and then lie down on their school mascot's logo on the football field. And then Bare Naked Ladies Who Need Sleep kicks in again. You get like a little aerial shot of them like sleeping. It's very sweet. The next episode is The Reluctant Hero. I have not watched it yet or read a description as of right now. And I have no idea what that episode is. I don't remember what it could possibly be at all. So let's find out together next time. Goodbye.